We've got a series of chart assignments coming up. Let's take a look at how we can approach these. This is the information that would be given to you, something you might pull off the internet, and you need to convert it to some format that you can use in a presentation. Let's take a look at what information is given to us. We have a title. Here we're looking at individuals in the United States who are fluent in more than one language, and it's given by percentages of those surveyed. And our categories are all adults, men, women, educated through high school, college graduate, and postgraduate. And so the first step in creating this is to take the information that's given to you and create a data table or a worksheet over here in Google Sheets. Now, before you do that, what you do want to do is create a new workbook and then give that the name Chart Assignments. And then what we will do is add new pages to the workbook in order to complete these assignments. So here's the first one, Fluent WS for Worksheet. And so you want to go ahead and create that first, and then we'll start adding pages. This is how the chart's going to look when we're finished here today. And then you can also give that a name. And I will also put a number 1 there, just to show that it's assignment number 1. So do that before you get started. New workbook, chart assignments. So I have my title here. I've gone ahead and merged these columns for the title. I've got my category, gender/education, and then the percentage. And then I've listed those categories. Let's take a minute to talk about how to format these percents. There's a couple ways that this can be done. We could simply put them in as a decimal value. 20% would be 0.2. And then we could format that as a percent and reduce the decimal places if we wanted to. A lot of times we like to have at least one decimal place. Another way that we could approach this is to type 20 and then add the percent sign, which is above the number 5. And that would work just fine. What's important to note is that 20 and 20% are completely different values. The other way that we could do it is that before we key in any of the information regarding percents is that we could pre-format the cells by selecting them and then formatting as percent here up on the ribbon. And then when we key these in, they will then be formatted as a percent, defaulting to 2 decimal places. And if we want to change that, we could select all of those and reduce it down to 1 decimal place. So that's setting up the data table. What would come next is to actually create the chart. A couple different approaches. Let's start with this one. Let's select the values. Insert, chart. We definitely don't want a pie chart here, so we want to make sure that we come over and select a column chart. And we can see that it automatically put percent here. It recognized that we did have a column heading. Here are the columns, and so we need some titles here. Let's go ahead and put this on its own sheet. Edit chart, column chart. We do need some labels for the x-axis, so we'll go ahead and click there. Select a data range. Come back to our worksheet. Select the labels for gender and education. So now we have those labeled. We need a main title, so let's go to Customize. Chart and Axis Titles. And then we can do some formatting there. We can make that bold. We could change the color. Let's make it black. Remember, we're trying to match the image that was provided to us. And then let's go ahead and make that pretty good size font there so we can see it real easily. We'll make that size 30. We'll go ahead and align that to the center. Let's do a chart subtitle. And we'll just say that's here in the United States. And we'll call it a 2019 survey. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll just put that for now. And then once again, let's go ahead and make that a little smaller. We'll make that one 20, make it bold, put it in the center, and then we'll also make that black. Next up, let's take a look at these down along the bottom. Our categories are a little bit small. Let's format those. Here's how we would do that. We want to format on the horizontal axis. We'll make them bold. We'll keep the standard font. Go ahead and change that to 20. So now we can see that easily. Let's look at our original image and see what we have. We've got our values here at the top of the columns. Let's see if we can do that. So because our columns represent the series of data points that we're charting, let's go ahead and go to Series. Format Data Point. Error bars, data labels, trend line. We want data labels. There they are. But as you can see from our image, what we want to recreate is we want those values to be on top, and we also want them to be black. And once again, we're going to make those pretty large because if we're doing a presentation, we want the audience to be able to see this quite easily. So let's do this. Position. Center, inside base, outside at the end. That's what we want. So there we have it up on top now. You could change the font if you like. Let's change the font size. Let's make that pretty big. That's 30. Go ahead and make it bold. I'm going to change that color to black also. And I can see percent over here is not too big. Let's see if we can do some formatting over on the vertical axis now. So that's the series formats. Here's the vertical axis. Let's see what we have here. That's a little bit easier to read. We'll make that size 20. And bold. And it looks like it's already black. And it looks like the last thing we need to change is, we could change this here. Maybe we'll make that bold. It really doesn't need to be that big because it's obvious that our vertical axis here is percentage. And then let's compare that to the original here. See what we have. And so it looks like we've done a pretty good job here of recreating information that we obtained online regarding citizens who are fluent in more than one language here in the United States, according to this particular survey. So that's an approach to completing these chart assignments that we'll be doing for the next several lessons.